So how do you align the SEO strategy with, the business goals of driving retention, driving revenue, driving leads, expansion? How do you do that?
The first thing I do when I come into any engagement is to really, if it's a startup, to speak to the founders to try to understand what they're trying to do with SEO. If it's a more established company, to understand what the goals of the SEO team are. And so often I discover that they don't have any goals. The goal is do SEO. The goal is get more traffic. So alignment can't happen until everyone figures out what they're supposed to be doing, what essentially they're getting bonuses to do. And once you have that, so I spent years at SurveyMonkey. And one of the things that I did was I did a lot of, earning political capital with other teams by finding where our goals intersected. So if I knew a product team, their goal was to get X amount of users for their new product, I could help them get that amount of users, even though that wasn't going to be some term I needed or a sexy amount of traffic. And by doing that, I earned political capital when I said, hey, I need this, this new page changed, and they've already allocated resource towards it. They, we're on the same page. They can help me out with my goals because I help them without their goals. So alignment happens there. Alignment happens on understanding what you're trying to accomplish and finding those points of intersection where everyone can do the same thing and march in the same direction. But it can't happen until the goals are set up. And I know that SEO teams don't like to have goals because SEO is a black box. And if we have a goal and an algo changes, then we miss the goal. But I think goals aren't just for the company, goals are for ourselves. It gives us a direction to march. There have been very few companies where I don't think that there is upside in doing brand SEO. So I worked with WordPress. WordPress was so focused on terms within their space that they completely ignored the fact that WordPress was the largest word in the entire vertical. I worked with Tinder. Tinder was so focused on like dating adjacent keywords that they ignored the fact that Tinder was one of the largest words in the dating space. And I worked with Coinbase, and they were so focused on Bitcoin as a keyword that they missed out on all the things people wanted to know about Coinbase. So if you just take 5 steps back and say, our goal is to drive revenue from this SEO channel, why would you not think about the brand and brand adjacent things and ways to uncover more revenue? And that unlocks other non-brand opportunities. But that's really it. Find a goal, find something you can march towards. It's not fun if you miss the goal, but it's better than just like, it's wandering around in the dark, hoping you're doing the right thing for SEO, and then you're not because the business doesn't need it. That's one of the things that I'm, unfortunately seeing in the last 3 years where SEO teams are getting laid off because they have their executive presentations about all the things they did for SEO. And then I meet with a CEO or CMO and they're like, I'm not really sure what they do for the company. They do this domain authority thing, their best practices. They're very focused on best practices and they have all this tech debt, but where's the money? And yes, it's not fun to miss a goal, but I would say, hey, I had a goal. I got to 60% of the goal. Then you guys have a goal and I'm working on tech debt that will never be paid down for the next 5 years.